Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome into Dakota High School for today's Macomb Area Conference Red-White crossover boys basketball matchup featuring the Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils and the Dakota Cougars. Let's meet your starters for today's game. First for the visitors from Grosse Pointe South, number 2, William Johnson, number 3, Anthony Bernard, 5, Alex Shaheen, 10, Weston Brundage, and 12, Matthew Edwards. Now on the opposite side for Dakota, number 1, Joshua Hines, 2, Sean Swessinger, 3, Joey Toko, Ryan Rollins wearing number 5, and starting at center, number 10, Xavier Glenn. We got jump ball and we're underway as Toko will start it for the Cougars. Up top for Glenn on the far wing. He's guarded by Edwards. Now up top, Hines fires off a quick 3 and he hits it. 3-0 early for the Cougars from junior guard Joshua Hines. They'll come up in a half-court trap. We'll get it into the corner for Brundage and back up top. Now they're going to go underneath for Johnson, stolen away by Glenn. Running out is Ryan Rollins off glass, no good. Ball's loose on the floor, swung back up top for Hines, fires another 3. He's 2 for 2 to start off the night. 6 points for Joshua Hines and a 6-0 lead for the Cougars. Shaheen and Bernard will play catch back and forth. Now it'll be Shaheen for Bernard into the near corner for Edwards. Shaheen guarded by Rollins. Now it'll go to Bernard. Bernard will give it to a cutting Brundage, and he'll hit it for 2, and Grosse Pointe South's on the board. Dakota will slow it down with Ryan Rollins. He'll attack the baseline, fadeaway 8-footer, he got it. Minute and a half gone in the first quarter, 8-2, Dakota lead. Ball's going to be hit off of Swessinger, and here come Dakota the other way. Rollins for Toko underneath, spins it home. 10-2 Dakota leads earlier. Now it'll be a step-up jumper for Johnson off back rim. Hines pulls down the board. Hines brings it up near sideline, crosses over to the middle. Now leaves it for Rollins up top to reset. Gives it back for Hines. This one's off front rim, and William Johnson, the junior guard for the Blue Devils, will bring it down. This will be Shaheen right to the rack, and he gets grabbed on the arm. And we're going to get our first foul of the evening. This one's going to go against Joshua Hines. On the floor, it'll be Anthony Bernard to inbound. Bernard slings it up top for Shaheen. Back for Bernard, fires off a quick corner 3, rattles it home. Ten to 5 as Rollins brings it up the far sideline. Rollins takes a dribble in, floater off front rim. Johnson pulls it down, will leave it for Shaheen. Swings it around for Bernard. Bernard with the pick. Fakes on the Glenn, now goes right down the lane, off glass underneath, and he gets it home. Terrific circus play from Anthony Bernards, and he's got 5. Lead down to 3 for the Cougars. B. Rollins on the far sideline. Off the pick from Hines. Now into the lane. Little underneath pack. Xavier Glenn, and he traveled. Looked like he wanted to go up for the dunk. Took a second guess on it and decided to go underneath, but by then he had walked about 4 steps. And it'll be the turnover for the Cougars. Bernard quick fires on the far corner off back rim. Rollins pulls down a big board. Rollins takes it himself to the rack, underhand scoops, and he scores. 12-7, Cougars. Johnson far sideline has it pocket picked by Rollins. He'll go up and under off glass with one more layup. 6 points for Rollins. Bernard quick, and he's swatted by Ryan Rollins. Rejects Matthew Edwards. Ball's loose near half court, and it's going to stay with the Cougars. It'll be Cordova in for Sean Swessinger. at guard for Cougars. Xavier Glenn wasn't working. Toko gave him the pass. It'll be Edwards to the rack against Toko. Matt Edwards gets on the board. Off the steal on the miscommunication from the Cougars. Dakota's going to slow it down. It'll be Hines. They'll go to the post. Xavier Glenn gets pushed out about 15 feet. A step, and he'll get another step on the travel call. Second turnover for Xavier Glenn. Alex Shaheen will give it up to Brundaga. Back, Johnson takes a dribble, puts it on the floor. This one goes off the back rim. Ball's loose. Cordova hits the floor, and so does Brundaga. Gets it off to Bernard into the corner. That'll be Matt Edwards with the three. Anthony Bernard got it, tried to go underneath to Johnson. It's hit out of bounds, deflected off a Cougar. Shaheen to trigger. Shaheen in the corner for Johnson. Couple steps now. He'll go in at Rollins, right to the paint, off glass. Can't get it to go, but he draws the foul. Foul is going to go against Ryan Rollins, his first, team second. William Johnson's going to go to the line to shoot 2 for the Blue Devils. Johnson misses the first. William Johnson, a sophomore guard, one of these outstanding young guards for these Blue Devils team. Scored 11 in their last game where they beat Chippewa Valley. Johnson is good on the second. Couple substitution. Miles Jamison in for the Blue Devils, as well as Jacob Harris. Hines, nowhere to go. Leaves it for Cordova, now back up top for Toko. Toko for Hines. Rollins. Dakota very patient on the offensive end. They're a team that likes to run in these half-court sets. Ball's loose, and another turnover for Xavier Glenn on the quick hands from William Johnson. Anthony Bernard. Swings around for Jacob Harris. Harris puts on a move, gets a pick. Now has his pocket picked by Ryan Rollins. Rollins in all alone for the flush. Bernard quickly the other way, an 8-foot off the base of the net. Ball's loose on the floor. Toko and Glenn come up with it. It was Glenn giving up to Ryan Rollins. Has numbers as the ball is poked out of bounds by Anthony Bernard coming from behind. Tobias Williams in for Xavier Glenn. Toko inbounds for Rollins. Toko. Far side for Hines. Hines into the elbow, fires, nothing going. Big rebound by Williams, but it's loose out of bounds. Referees look at each other, and they're going to keep it Dakota ball. Another substitution for the Blue Devils, couple more. Nick Fannin comes in for Matt Edwards as Alex Shaheen steps back into the game. Hines, fake, pump fake, now takes it in off the block, off front rim. It's no good, but he's going to be shooting 2 at the stripe, as it's going to be a Blue Devils foul. It's going to be on Jacob Harris, first foul for the Blue Devils. Josh Hines, no good on the first. 16-10 your score as we're falling under 2 minutes to go in the first. Points no stranger to either of these teams. Dakota consistently leading year after year after year in points scored in the MAC Red as Hines converts on both of them. This is a Grosse Pointe South team that loves to get up and down the floor and put up threes. They shot 35 of them against Chippewa Valley last week. Be Fannin just into the game up top, and he'll leave it for Jamison. Swung around. Shaheen took a step before the ball got on the floor, and it's going to be another turnover for the Blue Devils. Toko inbounds to Rollins. It'll go back to Toko, who will run point on this possession. Hines in the corner. Williams, they'll go low post to Rollins. He'll draw the double team. Now they'll fall out. Rollins to the free throw line. Fade away. Tough shot. No good. Williams, a big rebound, and he throws it right into the waiting hands of Nick Fannin. Johnson puts on a move at half court into the corner for Shaheen. Dribbles in, now out, back in. Pump fake from Fannin. Now it's Harris with the ball, hands out for Shaheen. Good defensive stand here from the Cougars. Harris fires up a three, no good. Toko pulls in a big board. Toko right to the rack. Looks like he left it for Williams and gave a little friendly teammate shove to Williams, saying, you're going to go up for that ball. Because it looked like a nice little alley-oop attempt, but results in a turnover. It's the second occurrence of miscommunication resulting in a turnover for the Cougars. One on that alley-oop and the other on the inbound pass from Toko. Shaheen dribbles inbound. Out to Bernard, gets the pick from Fannin. Tries to go behind the back, and it's stolen by Rollins. Rollins 2-on-1, up and under, on the reverse, got it to go. And he gets the steal on the inbounds. And we get referee whistles. They're going to call the basket good, and they're going to get him on the tack for hanging on the rim afterwards. Bernard hits the first on the tech. Of course, at the high school level, where you see it more in college and pro sports, where the athletes put down a big dunk and they hang on the rim for a second. That's a technical at the high school level. In and out for Bernard on the second free throw. And Grosse Pointe South will inbound the ball from half court. Rollins with those two buckets, now in double figures. Their star senior going to University of Toledo has 12. Shaheen goes up and under and airballs on them. And there's another airball from the corner from Jamison. Hines comes up with it. Hines the other ways. Step-up jumper. Swessinger off back rim. Hines a big rebound, has it blocked by Bernard. He'll get it up ahead to Fannin. Saves it inbounds. Shaheen swings it around for Brundage. It'll be fired up by Shaheen at the horn in a pretty chaotic end of the first quarter. We'll have the Cougars leading the Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils 21-11. We'll be back with the second quarter on Macomb Township Government Access.
Hi, I'm Jordan Peele. I'm usually trying way too hard to be funny. Well, right now I'm going to be completely serious with you. Online bullying is a toxic side effect of modern technology. No one's immune to it. Not you, not me, nobody. But there's a way we can fix it. This emoji in the symbol section of your phone's emoji keyboard. Use it when you see bullying online to say, I see what you're doing, not cool, definitely not funny. And I know what funny is. I coined the phrase wordness to the turdness. So join me and become a witness. When you see bullying online, use this emoji to do something. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org.
Cougars 21, Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils 11. As we get ready to begin the second quarter of an action-packed first quarter, a lot of back and forth aggressive play, specifically on the part of Grosse Pointe South. But it was Ryan Rollins really being the big factor there for the Cougars. Quick 4 points towards the end of that first quarter, but he's got 12 overall and 8 from Joshua Hines leading the way for the Cougars. Second quarter is underway. Shaheen working up top. He's out there with Bernard in the backcourt. Shaheen nowhere to go. Bernard pump fake. Takes a step, now kicks out, deflected by Josh Hines. Shaheen dribbles baseline. Williams got a hand on it. Glenn out to midcourt with Bernard. Bernard comes back. We're going to get a whistle as the ball was loose. And it looks like it's going to be Antonio Cordova with a push. His first, team third. Excuse me, team fourth. Up top for Shaheen. Shaheen working on Swetchinder to kick out for Johnson. And we got to travel. Well defended there by Anthony Cordova. Could have gone either way. Grosse Pointe South's going to come out in a press. Swessinger on the far sideline draws a double team, now finds a wide open Williams. Takes it right to the hole himself and puts it in. Back the other way is Brundaga as Glenn hit the glass. Williams underneath for Glenn, takes one step, now goes up and under. Xavier Glenn puts it home and he's on the board. Shaheen all the way around, finds a wide open Bernard. Near corner, it's long, rebound Williams. Williams the other way. Stolen back by Bernard for Johnson, back to Bernard, takes a look, now resets. Shaheen. Far side for Bernard. Bernard takes it in baseline. Johnson, good ball movement here from the Blue Devils on the three from Matt Edwards off front rim. Bernard comes up with the big rebound. Shaheen now to the elbow, spin move, back out. Mid-range jumper for Brundage, and that doesn't catch anything. The other way, Cordova. Three Blue Devils collapse on him, and it's going to be a foul. Antonio Cordova. Cordova, 5'10", 160 senior. A key guard for Coach Toko off the bench. Joey Toko checks back in. Last foul against Grosse Pointe South was on 12, Matt Edwards. Cordova is good on the second. .550 to go in the second. Dakota doubled up on Grosse Pointe South here, 26-13. Just in the game is Jordan Johnson. This ball's knocked loose and stolen by Swessinger. Loose out in the midcourt. And it looks like it's going to be a foul against Sean Swessinger. Fifth on the team. Ball's near. Jordan Johnson just in the game, up and under off glass. He got it to go. Jordan Johnson's involved in the scoring. Johnson actually scored big last week against Chippewa Valley. He had 13 off the bench for the Blue Devils. Rollins, Williams, Swessinger. Swessinger working a two-man game. Now we'll reset to Rollins at the point. Rollins step up, three, buries it. That's 15 early on for Ryan Rollins. Shaheen quickly the other way, works it inside. Bernard, quick trigger on a three. It's a little long. Williams pulls on the board, but he'll get his own steal. Off glass, he got it to go. 12 cuts the lead down to 12 for the Cougars. About halfway here through the second. Rollins working a one-man game. Turnaround, able to maneuver his body around, misses it. Xavier Glenn on the tip, and it's reeled in by Shaheen, crosses the other way. Bernard, another quick trigger from the far corner. This time it's pure. Joey Toko gonna slow it down. Schlesinger around for Rollins. Rollins got Glenn on the switch. Ball's loose on the floor. Edwards hits the pile for it. Jump ball's gonna get possession. We're gonna get a couple extra whistles. Referee sort out. Ensure everything's good to go. Josh Hines back in for Dakota. Jacob Harrison for the Blue Devils. Are your substitutions. As Shaheen and Schlesinger take a seat, respectively. Looks like we're going to get violation on Dakota on the inbounds pass that time. Right back to the Blue Devils. Another turnover. Correction, that's going to be a foul against Toko. That'll put Grosse Pointe South into the bonus for the rest of this half. Johnson pump fake, dribbles it in, and now they got him on a double dribble. Was a bit of a strange move, definitely a hesitation type move, and the referee saw enough to call that. Rollins guarded by Jordan Johnson. Hines goes behind the back, pulls up, 15-footer, buries it. And he's into double digits with 10 points tonight. Grosse Pointe South just kind of hanging around as Johnson. Threes off for him. Toko coming the other way. Skip pass, hits the leg. Bednar goes out of bounds to save it, and it's up ahead to a wide open Johnson for two. How about the hustle play by Anthony Bednar that time? And we're going to get a 30-second timeout from Grosse Pointe South head coach Stephen Bednar. Stephen Bednar in his first year at the helm of the ship for the Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils. Troy Glasser decided to step away after the end of last season, not for any particular reason, except to spend more time with his family. Didn't rule out coming back potentially in the future for Grosse Pointe South or another team, but Troy Glasser really was one of the key components that helped rise up the Grosse Pointe South, which got them into the MAC Red a few years back. Glasser was 70-57 at Grosse Pointe South over 6 seasons. Now it's Stephen Bednard's ship. Right now, his Blue Devils are down to the Cougars, 31-22. This one's going to be stolen by Johnson. Johnson in, takes it himself. It's like he wanted to go up for a dunk, thought better of it. Cuts the lead to 7. Rollins works into the key, gave it to Glenn. Swung it around. Cordova, the three, air ball. Toko got a tip on it on the rebound. Another up and under move from Xavier Glenn. He sure does love going to that reverse move, but it worked for him that time. Shaheen got a running start. He'll go off to Johnson. An easy deuce. We're going to get another whistle on the play, and it looks like it'll be a It's like a warning. Be Dakota ball to inbound. Delay a game warning that time. Rollins. Leaves it for Cordova. And this ball will be juggled out of bounds and a turnover for Ryan Rollins. Dakota looked very stagnant in their offensive set that time. They love running those backdoor screens, trying to get guys open underneath. That time, nothing going for him. Shaheen taking his time now, dribbles in against Cordova. Kick out for Johnson, 3 more for William Johnson. 9 of the last 11 for Grosse Pointe South, and the Blue Devils are within 4 as we're getting down to halftime. Tight defense by Shaheen. It looked like he stepped out of bounds on the steal, and it's going to stay with Dakota. Definitely, you can tell the momentum has swinging a little bit, and I think that steal would have tipped it over for the Blue Devils as that bench was about ready to explode. And instead, it's going to be a Dakota inbound. Hines checks the clock, now gives it up to Glenn. The center works, now gives it up to Rollins. Rollins dribbles in, near block, fadeaway off glass, no good. Glenn with the follow. The senior center puts it home with an exclamation point. Johnson pulls in and out and buries a 3. The quick answer from Johnson. Glenn now works this aggressively in the post. Fade away on the hook, no good. Bernard with the rebound. 15 ticks on the clock. Shaheen wastes no time, dribbles it in. Pocket pick by Rollins, and it's stolen right back. This time it's Jordan Johnson for 3, air ball. Fannin on the offensive board, 4 seconds to go. Johnson from the elbow, another air ball. And that's going to do it for the half. Blue Devils close the gap. Cougars 35, Blue Devils 32. We'll be back with the second half of action in a moment, and it should be thrilling. We're watching Macomb Township Government Access.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Macomb County, 27 cities, townships, and villages. From East Point to Memphis, Romeo to New Baltimore. 458 square miles of where you want to be. It's a place where your children can grow, and so can your business. Macomb County's tree-lined borders contain over 12,000 acres of parkland. Its outer edge, 31 miles of freshwater shoreline, both filled each year with countless concerts, festivals, and family reunions. It's the birthplace of advanced technologies that not only instruct future generations, but protect them. Hey, and those are just facts. You can get that from the internet or a book. No. To truly understand what Macomb County is all about, you need to experience it. You need to live here. You need to work here. When you do that, you'll know you're home.
21's the magic number here at Dakota High School. We're back here with this MAC red-white crossover between the Blue Devils of Grosse Pointe South and the Dakota Cougars. Dakota came out and scored 21 points in the first quarter. Grosse Pointe South answered with 21 in the second. So we have a 3-point game here as we get ready to start the third. Leading scores on the Grosse Pointe South side, that's going to be William Johnson. He's got 12, and Anthony Bernard's got 11. For the Cougars, Ryan Rowans has 15, Josh Hines has 10, and we're underway. Shaheen swings it around for Johnson. Little give and go game, and the layup's good for Brundage. And a quick 2 from the Blue Devils. Hines gives it up for Glenn. Toko leaves it for Cordova out to start the second half. Hines, stutter step, 15-footer off glass, it's wide. William Johnson with the rebound. William Johnson pump fakes, hesitates on the 3, now triggers. And it's a little short and it'll go out of bounds, and the ball's gonna go back to Dakota. Toko from the far sideline, he buries it. Joey Toko getting involved here. And he's got 5. Shaheen brings it back out, now dribbles in and kicks it on the side to Bernard. Johnson on the near sideline, gets the pick. Now works one-on-one against Cordova, drives to the rack. And it's gonna be off the glass. Pulling it down is Rowans, who's gonna bring it up himself. Rowans fake slack, goes left, gives it up for Xavier Gren on the reverse. And another 2. The other way, saving it was Brundage, giving up for Edwards. Shaheen works baseline. Bernard near corner, he likes that spot. Out of bounds. They're gonna say it's off of Ryan Rowans. Brundage will be the trigger man. Bernard thought about it from the parking lot, and now he'll pull straight away. That'll rim off into the hands of Joshua Hines, who pushes up the tempo. Ball's loose on the floor. Looked like Johnson had it for a quick second, but it was kicked first by Antonio Cordova. Nicholas Fannin checks in. He's coming in for Matt Edwards. He's gonna go in the post, give and go Cordova, and Rowans, and Cordova converts. That's his first bucket from the floor, and they'll go all the way up to the rack again off the hand of Brundage. And that's a turnover for Grosse Pointe South. 2:18 gone in the third quarter here. Dakota now up 8. Toko runs in, now pulls out to Rowans. Rowans, little dribble drive, stutter step, buries the 3. Ryan Rowans with an 18 spot for Dakota so far. Shaheen's gonna pull it himself, that's in and out. Toko with the rebound, out front to Hines. Hines got Xavier Glenn underneath, but it's tipped and stolen by William Johnson. William Johnson dribbles right around Cordova for the easy 2. Couple quick exchanges for buckets, and now Dakota's gonna come out in the half-court set. 2-man Cordova pulls up from the elbow. And it looks like Nick Fannon's going to be charged with the first foul of the half for Grosse Pointe South on the push underneath. Sean Swessinger in. Josh Hines takes a seat. Corteva for Toko. Rounds goes in the post. Glenn has a double team, turns to his right shoulder, and it's off rim. Coming away with the Blue Devils. Up again to Brundage, and Toko's got a read on that and plays safety and picks it off. The other way, Schlesinger hesitates, go underneath for Glenn, dribbles through, can't get the layup to go. Johnson standing out of bounds as that ball's deflected at him. Can't do anything but get in the way of it. And that ball's gonna stick with the Cougars. Schlesinger against Johnson. Toko asking for a screen. Glenn comes out and settles back. Dakota slowing their game up. Now it's Toko near sideline. They're trying to post up Rollins. They'll get it. He'll go hard underneath. Collects his own rebound. Is swatted again from behind. Coming away with is Bernard. Grosse Pointe South's got numbers. And now Bernard will slow it up. Shaheen will take it back. Johnson. Bernard thought about pulling it from in front of his bench and swings around for Shaheen. Grosse Pointe South really looking for that three ball. Again, they shot 35 of them in their last game against Chippewa Valley. That ball is stolen for a second by Cordova. Johnson takes it back. So Brundage off glass, no good, but he draws the foul and he'll be shooting two at the strike. Looks like they got, that one's on Schlesinger, his second in the first of the half for the Cougars. Brundage, one of two seniors that start for this Grosse Pointe South team. The other one being Alex Shaheen, the point guard, as this first free throw will rim off. You look at Matt Edwards, the forward. He's a junior. And in the backcourt, they got William Johnson, the sophomore, and Anthony Bernard, the freshman. And with those two guards, I think this Grosse Pointe South team is going to be good for a while. As Flush is the second one. Jordan Johnson now in for the Blue Devils. Brundage takes a seat. Toko is doubled, swings around for Rollins. Comes in the middle, 8-foot bunny off the back. Fannin collects it. Johnson near corner slips, the far corner. Toko got his hand on it. Bernard takes it right back. Behind the back, pocket picked by Hines. Rollins comes away with it. Full court to Schlesinger. Back for Xavier Glenn. One on the deck and two through. Ten points for Xavier Glenn tonight. 47-37, Dakota's opened up a double-digit lead. Bernard. Pump fake, now driving in is Fanning. He'll take it himself. The putback is good. This time from Jordan Johnson. Number 24, Jordan Johnson. Rollins leaves it for Hines. Again, Dakota's going to slow it up in their half-court set. Schlesinger pulls, buries it. Schlesinger, first 3 points of the game from the near corner. Grosse Pointe South and Dakota once again changing buckets. Johnson corrals, now goes underneath for Fannin. Behind the back, Johnson, the finger roll. Oh boy, that was pretty from the two big men. That cuts it back down to 9 and a clear shove. And that foul's going against Jordan Johnson. Trying to come through a screen and came out with kind of a football Heisman stiff arm, and it's the wrong sport. You can't do that here. You get called for the foul every day. Hines with Williams, who just checked in. Hines steps into the free throw. Schlesinger from way downtown, no good. Williams to follow, that's no good. Shaheen out with numbers. 3-on-2, Johnson takes it up with the reverse, no good. Johnson got a hand on it. That's Edwards with the putback. .60 ticks left on the clock. Rollins works in on Johnson. Johnson got his hand on the ball and he'll recollect. This one will go to the near corner for Schlesinger, back for Rollins. William Johnson getting the tough matchup as Rollins splits the defender up and under. Whistles blow and foul will be called against Grosse Pointe South with 40.1 on the clock. That one's going to go against Jordan Johnson, his second, team third. Ryan Rollins earning 2 at the line. Rollins hits the first. Of course, Ryan Rollins, the great senior, the Mr. Basketball candidate in the MHSAA this season, taking his talents to the Rockets down in Toledo next year to play in the MAC, just the Mid-American Conference, not the Macomb area, and he hits them both. Dakota coming out with kind of this one-man, three-quarters press, trying to get that half-court trap. South breaks it easily. It'll be Jordan Johnson, far corner, a little strong. Big rebound by Edwards. The fadeaway off glass. He got it. And one for Matthew Edwards. Foul goes against Josh Hines, his second. With Matthew Edwards, the junior forward, at the stripe to convert the three-point play. Brundage is in for Jordan Johnson. Edwards cannot convert. Dakota quickly the other way. Schlesinger comes up and under. Foul's going to be on the floor against Matt Edwards. Kind of stuck out of a leg and caught Schlesinger on a little trip. Be Rollins the trigger. Schlesinger pump fake up top for Hines. 12 seconds to go. Ryans climbs the ladder, get it. Hines pulls it from the 8-foot mark on the volleyball court. That rims out. Johnson the other way, a couple seconds, stolen by Hines. Ball's going to be knocked loose, no shot off. That's the end of the third quarter. Dakota 52, Grosse Pointe South 45. We'll be right back on Macomb Township Government Access.
I'll be right back. Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Should be an exciting fourth quarter of action here at Dakota High School. Cougars leading the Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils 52-45 in this MAC red-white crossover. Grosse Pointe South comes into this game 2-0, Dakota 0-1. Josh Hines starts it off for the Cougars. Toko. It'll be Toko, Hines, Glenn, Rollins, and Schlesinger. Hines pulls up from the stripe, and he hits it for 2. Shaheen coming the other way quickly for Grosse Pointe South, and he answers. Rollins working on Johnson. That was Shaheen's actually first bucket of the game as a foul's called on the floor. It's going to go against Matt Edwards, his third. Alex Shaheen, who's been running the point pretty much for Grosse Pointe South, has been in most of the game, and that was his first 2. So that shows you what kind of facilitator he is. Underneath, Rollins just out-muscles William Johnson that time. 22 on the night for Ryan Rollins. Little give and go, Matt Edwards to the rack. Looks like a hand came from the back from Rollins, but no foul called. The other way, Swessinger from Toko, right in the hands of Bernard, and he's got numbers up ahead to Johnson. Finishes with the right hand. That's 17 for Johnson. Little floater off the back of the rim from Toko. 7-point game for the Blue Devils. Shaheen working in, and he's going to get called for the travel if they're lifting that pivot foot. There's a second to be able to highlight the speed of Joshua Hines. Josh Hines listed at 6 foot 150, but he's got speed to make up for every pound he doesn't have on him. He's very quick hands, and there you see he beat Shaheen to the spot and was able to draw the turnover. Toko, quick trigger from the far corner, reeled in by Shaheen. Here's an attempt. Edwards, the putback off glass, and puts it home. Matthew Edwards with 8, and your lead is 5 for the Cougars. Cordova. Quick double team for Shaheen. This ball's loose on the floor, and that's going to be a reach on Shaheen. His first. Tobias Williams. Sophomore forward getting time in the rotation for Paul Toko and his Cougars. He's listed at 6'5", and there's another miscue on the inbounds as this ball runs right underneath the Josh Hines to the feet of head coach Paul Toko, and a turnover for the Cougars. Grosse Pointe South taking their time trying to get something opened up. Shaheen swings around for Bernard. They'll go underneath to Brundage. Gives up for Edwards. Count it. And the foul. Matthew Edwards coming in on the give and go from Weston Brundage. Is in double digit scoring and looking to make it 11. And more importantly, making it a 2-point deficit for his Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils. 56-54, 5:18 to go in the fourth. And right on cue, Paul Toko's going to take a timeout. And it's going to be a full timeout for Paul Toko and company. Paul Toko, of course, has seen a lot of success here at Dakota. Just to name one thing under his belt, 39 straight MAC wins a few years ago with the likes of Jermaine Jackson Jr. and those consistent undefeated teams. But Paul Toko entering his 9th season at the helm of the Dakota Cougars. Again, looking for the success. This is a team in a lot of circles was not only picked to win the MAC Red, but to win the MAC, and they're looking for them to really come out of this region in this area. Right now sitting at about 20, depending on if you're looking at the top 25 from MLive or the Free Press, they're right around 20. So they're getting the recognition statewide as a team that can contend. Lost their first game to Cass Tech, but that's a very tough non-conference game they played. Cass Tech coming in with a Player of the Year candidate of their own in Tyson Acuff. He's also looking to win Mr. PSL, and they only lost by 4. In terms of the state, it's a good loss. But Dakota, of course, looking to try to put the finishing touches on this game, and the Blue Devils aren't going away easy. Glenn finds a wide open Schlesinger from the near corner. He hits it. Sean Schlesinger with his second three-pointer of the game. Against some intensity from Schlesinger, guarding Johnson, and he forces an air ball. You want to talk about a momentum swing, a single-player momentum swing right there. Sean Schlesinger hitting the three in the near corner for the Cougars, and then right in the face of William Johnson, forcing the air ball. 59-54, a 5-point lead for the Cougars. Now they'll look to slow it up with Ryan Rowlands. Underneath for Glenn, it's picked off by Shaheen. Shaheen works it the other way, leaves it for Bernard, fires. He's off mark on this three, and it'll go out to Xavier Glenn. Blocked from behind, but they're gonna get him for the foul. Whistles are gonna blow. Referees talk, and that's a technical against Grosse Pointe South, and the student section has erupted. They're gonna get Weston Brundage on the foul. And then a technical on the Grosse Pointe South bench. Rather, they're not gonna give the foul to the bench. They're gonna give the foul to Weston Brundage. He came off pretty upset after that foul call. He thought he had it on the Xavier Glenn coming up for the dunk, and he thought he had a clear block. Referees thought otherwise. It looked like there was some contact. Glenn's gonna miss the first free throw. But a potential situation for Grosse Pointe South to just come unglued here. Glenn's gonna convert the second. Misses the first, hits the second. It'll be Ryan Rowlands. Rowlands hits the first. Rowlands misses the second. Brundage is going to take a seat. Johnson will check in, and obviously with the technical call, it's going to be Grosse Pointe South basketball. Or, excuse me, Dakota basketball. Back to action with 4:19 to go. Into Xavier Glenn, back for Ryan Rowlands, who tiptoe the half-court line. Rowlands falls right to his seat, and Paul Toko is going to be granted a timeout as Rowlands is falling to the ground. And that's going to be a full timeout for Coach Paul Toko. And there you see some veteran experience for the coach. He sees what's going on. Rowlands didn't immediately hit the ground. He was falling backwards, and then he started to fall. Obviously, if you fall to the ground with the basketball in your hand, it's a travel. But Paul Toko, how about quick hands from Coach Toko getting that timeout in there? 61-54 is your score. 3 timeouts left for the Cougars, 4 for Coach Bednard and his Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils. And once more, we're back to action. Inbounds to Rowlands, giving him trouble with Johnson all the way into the backcourt and makes him run all the way back. Rowlands dribbles into the elbow, fires. It's a little left tip, no good. Edwards cleaning up the mess. Shaheen comes to the near corner. Ball's loose on the floor. To Johnson, far side, thinks about the step. Now we're going to be trading timeouts as we're going to get a timeout from Grosse Pointe South. And it will be full timeout as they finally get the call in to the scorer's bench. Let's look at some of that Dakota Cougar history I was alluding to earlier with Coach Toko. It started in 13-14, when they 17-6, 8-4, and the team unfortunately lost in this regional semifinal. The next year, 2014-15, 21-3 overall, 12-0 in the MAC. 15-16, 26-1 overall, 12-0 on the MAC. 16-17, 20-4 overall, 10-0 on the MAC. And then 17-18, 17-8 overall, 9-1 in the MAC. And that's where the 39 straight MAC wins ended. Where it began is where it ended, actually, with district rival for Dakota, Chippewa Valley. And of course, last season, after losing Ryan Rollins early on against Roseville, fell to 15-7, 7-3 in the MAC. Johnson in the corner, back up top for Shaheen. We're under halfway to go with 3:30 on the clock. Johnson puts on a move, works it to the elbow, finds Shaheen baseline. He'll put up an 8-foot high floater, and it's an air ball. Cordova, comes away with it. This ball is going to be dribbled right off the foot of Ryan Rollins and back to the Blue Devils. Switching up duties, now the point guard duty belongs to Anthony Bernard. 7-point deficit for the Blue Devils. Very patient here, Coach Bernard. And now, Johnson now works it in, pulls up a 15-footer. It's another air ball. Ugly possession from the Blue Devils. Other way, Dakota. Cordova underneath, pulls it back, gets it blocked. Bernard comes away with it. 2.5 left to go in the game. Bernard works in off the screen. Now he'll fire from about 5 feet back of the three-point line. Just misses. Collecting the rebound is Williams. Paul Toko's going to get a timeout. It looked like a substitution timeout. So 2:11 to go. Toko and Hines is starting backcourt. We're on the bench, so likely a move to just get them into the game. Can't talk enough about how electric Ryan Rollins is. Tonight he's got 23 points. And that's on par for the Mr. Basketball candidate. Again, going to the University of Toledo to play in the Mid-American Conference for the Rockets. Definitely welcome to have the senior back on the team this year. Again, went down with an injury against Roseville early on in MAC play. And that's really where most teams look at 7-3, and that's considered a successful season. But when you have the legacy that this Dakota basketball program has, they're looking to rebound from a 7-3 season. Ryan Rollins is going to be a big part about that as he muscles in a 2. Putting him at a quarter century on the game. To the rack goes Shaheen, can't get it to fall off the high glass. Tobias Williams is going to draw his first. Shaheen, and he'll convert on the first free throw. Can really understand what this Grosse Pointe South offense is trying to do. In their game against Chippewa Valley, an easy, cool 20 assists from their guard staff as Shaheen hits the second as well. Shaheen's a big part about that. Not looking to really score the ball, more looking to create opportunities for his teammates. To the rack goes Rollins one more time. He missed, but Williams didn't on the cleanup. Nice Williams showing how valuable he is, and Xavier Glenn is up limping as Johnson fires a 3 from the corner. He'll misses, and Williams will save it to Edwards. goes back in himself, has it blocked by Williams. Can't really get a shot off, and it looked like Williams is going to get the foul. Now it'll be Xavier Glenn painfully limping over to his athletic training staff, and finally, not sitting down yet, has a seat on the end of the bench. Edwards misses the first. Certainly with the thoughts of the injury of Ryan Rollins last year, not a situation Coach Toko wants to get in as Edwards hits the second. This ball is going to be knocked loose. They're going to get him on the push. Grosse Pointe South didn't like that call. Head coach Steve Bednard, again in his first season at the helm. It'll be 1-and-1 opportunity for Dakota. Josh Hines at the free throw stripe. He misses the front end. Ball's loose, tied up. It's going to go against Ryan Rollins. And now that'll put Grosse Pointe South into the bonus. They'll be shooting 1-and-1s. Johnson. Grosse Pointe South's got to be looking for a quick score here. 75 ticks left on the clock. Brundage hits a three. Full timeout for Grosse Pointe South. Weston Brundage, one of the two seniors, one of four seniors, excuse me, on this Grosse Pointe South team, one of two starters. Maybe a frustration three there from him, but that must have felt good to make for the senior. Situation that's kind of come unglued in the last 2 minutes of this gameplay. But Brundage's three brings them within 5, of course. You got the block down on Rollins, and then the ensuing technical. Grosse Pointe South, no doubt, drawing up. 1:08 to go, 2 timeouts left for each team. Grosse Pointe South, you have to imagine they're going to come out in a full press. Which, of course, we've seen Paul Toko and the Dakota Cougars. Ain't got no issues breaking them. Especially with the guard play of Toko and Hines, as well as Rollins and Cordova, as they're going to go Schlesinger on the floor as well to go with 5 guards. Glenn and Williams out. They'll get into Hines. And it's going to be an offensive foul. On the Cougars. They're going to get Antonio Cordova for the foul. We are in a bonus situation, but given that it was an offensive foul, they won't be shooting. It'll be inbound underneath. Edwards the trigger. Edwards will throw it all the way back for Shaheen. He wants pressure. Bednar to Edwards. Low corner. And it'll be slung out. Shaheen has to save it, but he can't as he runs into the bench. And a wasted turnover and a wasted opportunity for the Blue Devils. They just throw that ball away. A buck and a penny on the clock in the 4th. Trouble inbounding again, and this time they go all the way up top for Rollins. Has to climb the ladder and pull it down. Rollins works it to the stripe. Likely not looking for a shot at this point. And that's going to be the 4th on Edwards. Definitely something to look for. So we are now in an intentional foul situation for Grosse Pointe South. Edwards has been electric here for the Blue Devils, scoring 10 in the second half. As Rollins misses on the front end again. Edwards is going to take a seat with his 4 fouls. Likely a quick breather. Miles Jamison checking in. Tobias Williams is in. As Rowan hits on the second. Shaheen, quick inbound. Now works it across center. Gives it up for Johnson, guarded by Hines. Just for Bernard. Bernard thinks about it, now back up top for Johnson. 40 seconds. Grosse Pointe South really taking their time. Finally, Johnson opens up a lane and hits it home. And a quick timeout by Grosse Pointe South. And it's going to be another full timeout. Your score is 66 Cougars, 62 Blue Devils. Dakota shooting 2 here on out on any fouls. Grosse Pointe South will be shooting 1 and 1 as Dakota's at 17 fouls. 1 timeout left for Grosse Pointe South, 2 timeouts for Coach Toko and the Cougars. There's your situation. Obviously coming out in another full court press with 33 seconds left, a situation where you got to go for a quick steal. You got a chance if you want to let them put it down on the floor for a dribble or 2, but you got to be able to get to that foul as quickly as possible, as it is a 2-possession situation with the 4-point differential. They'd be definitely looking for a quick foul here from the Blue Devils if they can't get the steal. Grosse Pointe South's going to go with Shaheen, Brundage, Johnson, Harris, and Bernard. Opposite side for Cougars, Cordova, Toko, Rollins, Hines, who gets the inbound, turns him off. Shaheen pressing defense, they'll come up. Swessinger is the 5th guy on the court. Toko gets it to Rollins, who is the man they want the ball in the hands of. As he gets fouled. Goes against Winston Brundage. Rollins, again, misses the front end. So the last minute or so, really a chance for Dakota to seal this victory. Now, 5 missed free throws in the last about 2 minutes of this game, 2.5 minutes. Rollins misses the second. And Grosse Pointe South throws the ball away. Edwards. Miscommunications by Shaheen. And now Dakota's going to take a full timeout. And that'll leave Coach Toko with 1 left. Looking at that last play, again, you see just several times you've seen it from both these teams, and maybe it's the early season jitters. Maybe you're nervous being in the Dakota building, but that's a situation where 20 seconds to go in the 4th, not a mistake you want to look, and not something you're going to enjoy looking at on the tape. But we've seen a couple of them, missed bounds, a couple missed alley-oops to Williams and Glenn, a couple missed cues on inbounds. Speaking of Xavier Glenn, he is still sitting on the end of the bench for Dakota. Pack of ice was on his right ankle. That is where it's going back, so hopefully you got to hope in a situation like that he can return quickly. Be Swessinger to trigger for the Cougars. Can't really find anybody, poked out of bounds, and they got a foul. It's going to be against Alex Shaheen on his 3rd. Shooting 2, it's Josh Hines. Hines hits the first. Josh Hines, after starting off this game with a couple quick threes, has 13 total points, looking to make it 14. And he does. And that'll open up this lead to 6 points for the Blue Devils. Swung around, Johnson hesitates. Now it's the step back in the face of Rollins. That's not even close. Edwards gets his shot rejected. Rollins comes out through half court, and he's gonna try to throw down a dunk to the displeasure of Coach Toko, who wasn't even looking in the direction. But they're gonna hang on to this victory, 68-62 for our fantastic Macomb Township Government Access crew. James Drum, Jason Burnt, I am Adam Abraham saying good night from Dakota High School. Thanks for watching.